In this explainer, we're going to break down the most critical and, frankly, the most misunderstood rules for student visas. We're going to focus on the one factor that truly determines success or failure, your credibility.
You know, many applicants assume that a visa refusal is about their grades or their choice of school. But the reality is, most rejections are caused by rules the applicant wasn't even aware of. These small, overlooked mistakes can cause severe long-term damage to your entire immigration future. Now, before we proceed, a quick but important disclaimer. This presentation is for educational purposes only. It is not legal or immigration advice, and all the information we're providing is accurate as of the year 2026, based on official immigration guidelines. So here's what we'll be covering. First, we'll dive into the credibility test. Then, we'll look at the strict conditions that come with your visa. After that, we'll examine the very serious danger of misrepresentation, understand what a permanent immigration record really means, and finally, we'll discuss how you can protect your future.
All right, let's start with what is probably the most common and most damaging misconception in the entire student visa process.
The myth is that getting an admission letter from a university automatically guarantees you a visa. That is completely false. The reality is this: a student visa application is not an evaluation of your academic ability, it is an assessment of your personal risk profile.
The visa officer's primary question isn't, is this student smart enough? The question they are actually asking is, will this person follow the rules and will they leave the country or switch to another legal status when their studies are finished? They are assessing your intent and your likelihood of complying with the law.
What this means is that every single document you submit, your financial statements, your academic history, your letters of intent, all of it serves one primary purpose: to establish your credibility. Your admission letter proves you're eligible to study, but the visa process itself tests whether you are a trustworthy applicant. And this is the exact step where most people fail.
Now, this whole concept of credibility is built on your understanding of the rules you are agreeing to follow. You see, a student visa isn't a right, it's a permission slip, and it comes with very strict conditions attached.
Let's be very precise here. A student visa is a form of conditional permission. It gives you the legal right to live in a country for the purpose of studying, but that right is entirely dependent on you following a strict set of regulations. These are the core conditions, and they are not negotiable. You have to study full-time. You can only work within the legally permitted hours. You must remain enrolled and actually attend your classes. And you can't just change your course or your school without official authorization. These aren't suggestions. They are legally binding rules.
Now, a violation of these terms might not result in an immediate consequence, but you have to understand immigration systems are all interconnected, and they have very long memories. Every single infraction is recorded, creating a permanent data point in your file that can and will negatively impact any future applications you make.
This brings us to the most severe category of violation there is: misrepresentation. This is the one action that can permanently shut the door on your entire immigration future.
So, what is misrepresentation? It's defined as the act of actively providing false information, deliberately hiding critical facts, or submitting documents or statements that just don't align with reality. It is a willful act of deception, not an accidental mistake.
Some of the most common examples include things like submitting bank statements that have been faked or digitally altered, providing documents that show an inflated income, failing to disclose previous visa refusals from any country, or claiming your primary purpose is to study when your real intent is to work illegally.
The consequence for misrepresentation is not just a visa rejection, it is a long-term, or in many cases, a permanent ban from entering the country. And this can be enforced years later, even if a visa was already approved based on that false information.
So let's talk more about why your immigration history is permanent and how even what might seem like a small lie can have irreversible consequences. You need to consider the risk calculation from the embassy's point of view. They don't expect perfect applicants, they expect honest ones. A profile that's maybe a little weaker but is completely truthful is always considered safer than a strong-looking application that's based on false information. Broken credibility is the single biggest risk factor they look for.
I want you to really understand this. There is no reset button. Every application you submit, every interaction you have, it all contributes to a permanent record. A small adjustment on a student visa application today can become the exact reason a work visa or permanent residency application is denied years down the road.
So,
To wrap this up, let's outline a clear, actionable strategy you can use to protect your long-term immigration prospects by building and maintaining your credibility from day one.
You can protect your future by following 4 straightforward rules. 1. Never submit a document or piece of information that you can't confidently explain and defend. 2. Keep every detail consistent across all your documents. 3. Always follow the official government guidelines, not something you saw on social media. And 4. When you're in doubt, just be honest. It's always a better strategy than trying to be clever.
And we'll end on this final critical thought. Your student visa application is not just an isolated event. It is the foundation for your entire immigration future. Protecting its integrity is the only way you can protect all of your future opportunities.